Unanimously, we agreed to the concept of background checks.
I think that it's easy to move to the holistic when it really is just a problem of the human. The guns are a tool just like anything else. And the reality is that the states with the lowest gun homicide rate in the nations are, in order, New Hampshire, Vermont, Iowa, Idaho, North Dakota, and Montana. None of those states have significant gun laws. None of them. The reason for that is because the folks who live in those states are different than the folks who live in states with high rates of gun crime. If you actually want to solve the problem of gun crime, you have to solve the underlying problem with it, which is crime. Right? And instead of focusing on the implement that is used to commit the crime, we need to be focused on how we actually get the crime rates down. The truth is that one of the reasons that you've seen such tremendous declines in crime in some of the states that you mentioned, Ralph, is because across the country, we've seen a tremendous decline in the amount of crime in the country. We've actually seen tremendous declines in domestic violence, domestic assault across the country over the last 20 years. In terms of intimate partner violence, we've seen a decline of 72%. I mean, these are massive drops, and one of the reasons for that is not increased gun laws. Gun laws have actually been loosened in many cases, especially at the federal level. The reason for that is because you've actually seen longer sentences for criminals.
Let's be honest here. The gun control debate is not really about guns. It's about trust. It's about whether you believe that government can fix people, that it can regulate human nature, that it can surgically engineer a safer society if only we give it enough control over our lives.
And if you keep criminals in prison, it turns out one of the benefits is that criminals are in prison.
Forcing it that way. I think we go round and round about statistics and trying to compare states. I don't think there's a social scientist in the world that says you can do a logical, controlled experiment determining whether a certain change in language saved lives or not. We don't know that. But what we do know is there are people who have these weapons and shouldn't. So why don't we just attack it from that point of view?
So it was understandable. You're able to come down to, yes, you think that this is an effective way of reducing the odds that someone violent would get a gun. And that would,
well, it's better than doing
means.
Nothing. I mean, the only alternative is to say let's give up and accept.
Ben, is that the only alternative?
No, I don't think that's the only alternative. I don't understand why we don't have an alternative in terms of actually fighting crime itself.
Crime is a human problem. It's not a mechanical one. And when you focus on the weapon instead of the person holding it, you miss the entire point.
I mean, what we are doing is we are creating a whole new class of crime in which an enormous number of people who are not committing crimes other than transferring a weapon to, for example, a sister-in-law could theoretically be swept up by a prosecutor in that. Now, we've been assured by people that they are not going to apply the law as written in cases where they don't feel that it's necessary to do so. But really, I mean, this... This initiative is vague. It is poorly defined. The definitions are poor. There are many holes in it, and the best that the state seems to be doing with I-94 is, well, trust us, we'll enforce it right. And if that were the case, if that were the case, if we could trust the state to enforce things correctly, then we wouldn't have half of the problems with violence in the state that we currently have.
Okay, forget 594. What do you want to do?
What do I want to do?
How would you change the enforcement of crime to
longer sentences for criminals?
And regardless...
You can pass every law you want. You can ban this type of magazine, restrict that type of rifle, make everyone go through background checks for every transfer of a firearm. You can even require licenses and training and waiting periods. But until you fix the moral decay that leads someone to pull a trigger in cold blood, you're not going to make a dent in the real numbers. And in the meantime, you will have disarmed the law-abiding. You will have criminalized fathers protecting their homes. You will have turned good, responsible people into paper criminals, all in the name of a solution that doesn't even solve the problem. This is why conservatives always come back to enforcement, not because we're blind to suffering, not because we don't care when someone's murdered in the street, but because we understand cause and effect. We understand that when you let criminals walk, when you reduce sentences, when you treat crime like a sociological accident instead of a personal choice, you get more of it. So when someone asks me, what's your plan to reduce gun crime? My answer is simple. Punish criminals. Enforce the law. Keep the thugs behind bars. Respect the rights of the law-abiding. And stop pretending that writing another law is going to fix a broken culture. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still thinks the issue is just about guns.